My name is Pedram Faed. I'm the Vice President of Partner Success and Analytics here at Tekion. I'm joined here with my partner, Nitika Gupta, who is our Director of Machine Learning. Today, we want to kind of talk to you a little bit about the advancements in analytics and some of the pathways that we take from the advanced analytics platform and kind of continue to move on with new technologies such as machine learning and advanced AI tools and technologies. So one of the things we love to start to talk about is we hear a lot about analytics, reporting, how all these different things kind of work in the ecosystem of the dealership business. And so we thought to kind of talk a little bit about the descriptive and diagnostics data that we run through our Tekion Analytics product. And for most of you in the current business environment, we work off of things such as reporting tools, most commonly things like docs, standard reports that you use in your systems. And one of the things that we've really been proud of that we've contributed towards is the movement towards analysis using dashboards, insights, to really drive a better sense of context. And so moving through these, we found that the last couple of years as we've innovated through analytics, that the next evolutionary step, of course, is to be able to move towards things such as machine learning and AI. So the advancements of this, of course, is that as we move towards more predictive and prescriptive elements, that of course we're going to need to leverage our machine learning and AI teams. And so some of those areas that where we see of course, the big areas growing is that it adds more business value. And of course, the complexity continues to open. And as we move through those, some of the things that, of course, our dealers want to see and we want to contribute towards are predictive modeling, forecasting in particular. We know the complexities that exist with being able to forecast. Many of us continue still use basic statistical straight line modeling forecasting. And so the future of being able to leverage machine learning and AI is that we have advanced capabilities of running that. And last but not least, of course, is getting towards a prescriptive model. And these are recommendations. So when we think about what are some of the best strategies that we can use, and instead of constantly analyzing and interpreting from a talent perspective, how can we use this information with machine learning and AI so that it makes better recommendations for us? One thing that we really like to touch on from an analytics perspective is we talk about the power of visualization. What you see behind me here is probably something that most of you use on a daily basis, docs, reporting. And if we kept this up here for a little while and I asked everybody, take a gander at this and tell me what month from an expense perspective would you say is one of the worst months? And after we all kind of glean at it and spend some time with it, I don't know, we might come to the conclusion that potentially the month of October from an expense perspective is bad because we show a $340,000 expense structure. Normally what happens is analysis like this, of course, is talent dependent. We have to look at this information, interpret this information, and of course it takes a lot of energy. But the bottom line is when we look at information like this, it puts a tremendous amount of stress on the business because we run it through just a talent-driven model. So when we talk about using power of visualizations, I want to show you the same set of information except using visualizations. And what's really fascinating is we're all drawn to green and red. It's super easy to be able to insert that same exact data that you saw earlier. What's interesting is, as I highlighted the month of October, we said, hey, the month of October, we had the biggest expenses. But what's really fascinating is when you overlap it with things like gross, and you look at it from an expense as a percentage of gross, that month of October ended up being one of the best controlled expense months that, in this, my example has. And the real power behind that is that you can immediately start seeing trends and patterns. And the great part behind that is that it doesn't take a lot of talent. It just takes somebody to be able to look at intuitive data and say, wow, I can see exactly what's happening. So this is one of the great ways that we leverage the power of visualizations. Additionally, the good old financial statement and analyzing the financial statement, because the next question really behind that is, which one of my expenses has gone up? And what we traditionally do is we export that data, we stage it, we look at it through Excel, and then the next game is, well, which one of these expenses really requires my most attention? And so in our case, why don't we just sort that information for you and just use some real basic logic? And that basic logic should be things such as, well, which one of the expenses is growing over period, whether you want to do it month over month, over comparison period. But really easily being able to spot those variances are extremely helpful. Again, green and red and the good old power of sort. And then the next step is, why don't I just click in and be able to see that detail line and immediately being able to see comparative information. Sometimes when we just look at one band of data, it tells us one story. But it's pretty powerful that in one click, you take and make your financial statements this dynamic, this visual. And I hope what this really inspires everybody to think about is that this is the ability to also democratize your data. And what it does is it enables more than just one or two individuals who have been kind of anointed the specialists or the data-driven analyst in the business. And it empowers so many people to make the right decisions of running their business. So there's many examples of this, right? Advisor performance report. There's tons of service reports that we look at. And again, just to share with you, it's not just about, the financial statements of the world. How do you run that same information? And maybe you look at it from a different angle and say, yeah, I want to be able to look at KPIs. And again, as much as we want to make it more complicated, it's about simplicity. Simplicity is what really drives results at the end of the day. And so when you look at the two, tables of information, again, if I was to ask the same question, I said, give me your analysis of what you see from that top table, it puts the stress of being able to review, analyze, and look at that data. But when you look at the bottom and you look at immediately that, yeah, these are the metrics that we look at, these are the KPIs we'd like to see, again, you're able to quickly lean in and see, wow, okay, here's what's going well, here's what's not going well. So there's many examples beyond just KPIs. Maybe we want to look at things from just a overall trending perspective. Think about how much effort these traditionally take where you're constantly having to export information. I think these are some things that we really want to highlight from an example perspective. And of course, we didn't forget about sales. So it gave you some examples from financial statements to service. Certainly the sales department requires the same. So we have the same functionality. And if you notice, what we want to keep is continuity. We don't want to create one visualization after another that confuses people. We really want to leverage simplicity so that across your divisions, everybody can make the right decisions. The other great thing is, of course, even from the perspective of taking a look at from sales trend patterns, the decisioning that's made with things like this, when it's simplified, is powerful. Maybe it's a staffing issue that you need to rectify. Maybe it's being able to understand why a certain day is performing better than another. But just simply being able to use technology like this really adds a tremendous amount of value. One of the things that we're really proud of too is joining a lot of information. It's one thing to trend information, but when you have to bring information together to make better educated decisions, it really requires a multitude of things. So what you're seeing behind me is, when we look at the performance of, for example, a particular model line, why do we have to run a sales report, an inventory report, analyze that information to trend it to see whether things are going up and down? Why not to be able to specifically pick a particular model line and then instantly take a look at things such as, how much did I forecast of this brand? How much do I have in stock? And not just how much do I have in stock, because we all look at a particular car line and say, I got 10 of these, but that doesn't necessarily end the story. The ability to visualize immediately and take a look at what you sold in the last 90 days, as you see represented in the blue bars, against what I currently have in inventory, it really enables sales managers to start making decisions in a completely different way. Now they're partners with you from an inventory perspective, and you're not faced with these continuous reactive situations of, why didn't we have the right cars? Why did we carry too much of something? So having the ability to join this information and have it pre-staged is extremely important. The other thing we were sensitive to is making sure that none of this requires custom build development out of the gate. Everything that you see is out of the box. This was one of the biggest struggles. I'm sure many of you have seen presentations like this. You get the product, you get a blank canvas, and you have to start from scratch. The beauty of this is immediately day one, out of the box, powerful decisioning to be able to help you run your business. I hope we've given you some ideas of leveraging the ability to leverage this information from a visualization perspective, because when you think about what's happening in today's world, as you can see over to the left, data interpretation traditionally is 1 to 2 people in the facility. It's obviously a talent-driven model. It's reactive, and it's time-consuming, and certainly it's complex. And I know that this resonates for many of you. And so when you think about leveraging things such as data visualizations and how we've walked you through this, you can see that you empower many people, 5, 10 plus individuals in your business who are now armed with being able to make better decisions because it's technology-driven. And the fact that we're able to have proactive, efficient, and simple ways of managing your business is really the power of an advanced analytics product. So we're really proud of that. And now the next step, and what we're really excited about, is how do we leverage all this amazing information in which we've staged because the next evolution of this, of course, is moving into our artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies. And I'm really excited where Nitika is going to talk to us about, this is the baseline, this is where we've come. We know we've far advanced majority of the competitors that we work with, but now she's going to really inspire us about the future of artificial intelligence and machine learning. Nitika?
Thank you, Pedram. I'm Nitika Gupta. I lead the machine learning team in Tekion. Today I'm going to talk about AI-powered Tekion. But before going to that, first I want to talk about what constitutes machine learning and artificial intelligence. Few people say it's good analytics, few say it's great statistics, few people also say it's a software development. So what are the key factors? First, you need to have a human level comprehension, understanding a statement as what human does. Second, which is the biggest component, is your platform has to have a capability to learn continuously. These are the two key contributors of what constituted artificial intelligence. Few of the technologies which are really big you might have heard is, let's say, natural language processing. You utilize it every day. You use Alexa, Google, Siri to play a song. You use it to book a dental appointment, right? The same technology powers our retail chatbot, right? And it's everywhere. Second big technology is computer vision. Utilize it when you unlock your phone using facial recognition, right? The same technology powers damage detection on vehicles or parts. So where does ML AI fit in? How it can help businesses in automotive industry? So there are two categories of tasks and processes. Either you have a repetitive and non-repetitive task, or you have a manual and cognitive task. Let's take an example from a CRM. When I say manual and repetitive, you set up rules in CRM and say, okay, if there is an internet lead, you follow up on the third day, you follow up on the fifth day, and so on, right? You also might have a sales experienced person who has a decade of experience in this industry, check out those rules and say, no, let's put one more filter and only follow the customers from this particular region, right? That is an example of cognitive and repetitive. So these two types of tasks, manual or cognitive and repetitive tasks, this is where ML AI can help businesses a lot. So ML AI can not only increase efficiency, but also can increase revenue in those domains, because ML AI tries to churn out all the data which is present in all the domains and give you the best strategy out for the lead, right? So that you have a higher lead conversion rate or a faster conversion of the lead. Yeah. Let's talk about what is AI-powered Tekion platform. In Tekion, what we tries to do is basically leverage artificial intelligence at every touch point to increase the customer experience, to increase the efficiency, increase the revenue. For example, customer visits the dealer website, customer can search all the vehicles, search for the payment plan, what are the best attributes I should look at, and they can get an answer from the chatbot, right? And it also automatically generates a lead. Once lead is into a CRM, let's take example of lead prioritization, where we help out sales manager and says, you can pick up top leads and reach out to them. These are the top 10 leads, you should call them, and they're on. ML also helps in basically telling you, okay, you should call this customer rather than emailing this customer. Or let's take an example when customer is trying to book a service appointment, we churn out all the historical data of the similar cars, basically what is the vehicle condition, and we say these are the relevant recommendations. Or when customer is trying to book a car, we recommend the right F&I technology. So what we're trying to do is empowering the dealers to do the critical work so that they can take the decisions going forward. So this is how basically we implement ML at every touch point and empower businesses. Now, how can you check how much ML has actually generated with zero touch, with zero effort, right? Here, if you check the dashboard for the ML, this dealership made $4,000 shift without any intervention from the employees, right? You can track it there and you can basically say, okay, how do I grow it further? You can have, okay, what is the best in class revenue also? What should I do to achieve that? Similar to this, there are a lot of other applications and value what Tekion has generated.
You know, one thing to talk on about this, you know, just to pause and emphasize what she's mentioning from a machine learning perspective. Think of everything that you're doing right now is pretty much static. So being able to build campaigns, it's a static system. And every week, every month, everyone needs to go and make an update. As certain vehicles come in your drive, as they rise and fall, someone has to analyze that data and say, hey, should we make more recommendations for this particular car? Should we add more service revenue in this particular op code? And really what machine learning is leveraging here is the ability to study massive amount of data and basically make the decisions so that instead of you having to have that talent model, you're able to leverage technology.
This is one of the case study how we are helping out service advisor to do the critical tasks, and we are taking care of some of the basic things through machine learning, right? So after implementing the recommended services, now there's a 9% time saved in customer check-in because service advisor don't have to go to the basic services. These are already added to cart by the customers. Now service advisor can just maybe upsell few more, that's it, and check-in is done. Not only that, right? Like the customer is adding services to the cart like an Amazon. These are the recommended services, and these recommended services are different from what is recommended via OEM, via service menu, based on mileage or based on time, because we are churning out data from multiple dealers for the similar brand, for the vehicle condition. All those factors we are taking into account to relevant to recommend those services. So what we have observed is the revenue within this range, where like Excel Plus stores are making on an average from 17,000 to up to 34,000 per month, which is without any help from an employee. And this is what we have created an impact for the dealership in last 6 months, only through machine learning. We have $3.8 million plus service revenue, 146K customer record merges, because this is cleaning up of the data, automatically merging the customer records. We have accessory sales of approximately $60. So given this is the current condition, right? What is the future? What is the AI possibilities in digital sales? These basic sales recommendations, F&I recommendation, everything is almost there, right? Next, future is AI assisted buying. When customer is on the website, from the event data, there are billion of data points. We want to identify, is customer having a pain point in this particular page? Is he spending a lot of time on the understanding what is the discount program? We can have a proactive bot asking, okay, you are facing the issue, let me connect to someone. So AI assisted buying is the future of digital sales. One more thing is a personalized website path, right? There are a lot of customers who does not want to skip through like accessories, F&I, and we do understand their behavior from historical searches, right? So why can't we personalize that website path so that we can save customers time in doing so? These are some of the examples, what are possibilities are going to come in digital sales. And these are some possibilities which is coming in the DMS. Augmented reality is the future where customers getting a close sense of what they're buying. They should be able to customize the car, colors, accessories, everything just in the digital car showrooms. That's the future. And also you have a smart personalized campaigns. You just start it, automatically it will select the audience. It will select what channel it need to go, what should be the content, personalized content generated, and when to follow up. All those things to make sure overall in a month you have a higher conversion rate, and also it's closing really fast. Then the last one is basically the connected cars. If you have the connected cars data, the predictive maintenance is the future. You don't want customers to walk in and to decide, okay, this is the time to get the service done, right? Based on the vehicle condition, you should go visit your nearby dealership. So these are all the possibilities, and one of the possibilities we have just turned into a reality.
Tekion understands that automation is the key to efficiency in many cases. That's why we are constantly looking for areas to automate processes for our dealer partners wherever we can. And it's why we're proud to offer automated invoicing. Not only can your accounting team reduce the time it takes to extract invoice data by an average of 75% by eliminating manual entry, but because it's part of Automotive Retail Cloud, all the processing happens within the platform without working in a separate app. And with advanced machine learning technology, fields like vendor name, invoice number, due date, and amount are automatically populated. If you prefer a vendor to be named something different, just change it, and the system will learn your preference for future invoices. Free up your resources to complete more tasks requiring human hours, streamline invoice processing, and redefine data entry in your business.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. To give you some insight beyond that, of course, anomaly detection is something that the team is currently working on, which is a really exciting project. But we hope we invoked your thought. We gave you some insight in regards to what the partnerships look like between analytics and machine learning. And we look forward to having you come by, say hello to us, engage, and ask many more questions. And we'd love to be able to interact with you. Thank you all so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.